Sram Senior Edificer versus Gisa and Geralf. We have no relevant lands in hand, so we're going to mulligan this. And if we get another land, that hand isn't terrible. Our opponent ironically just said good luck, so seeing as how we've been wished good luck, why don't we go for... yeah, we can put that on top and go for a Sol Ring with that actually, so... yeah, we don't want to shuffle that away. We can just play to our next turn, draw into the tutor, and then get a Sol Ring with that afterwards. It's pretty slow, but in my experience, Gisa and Geralf tend to be slow anyway. They are 4/4 for 4 in Demir. When it enters the battlefield, you mill 4, and then during each of your turns, you can cast a zombie card from your graveyard. I'll just wish good luck and have fun to my opponent. And then we can, yeah, we'll pass the turn and Enlightened Tutor at the end of our opponent's next turn. Enlightened Tutor, of course, is an instant, and we can search for an artifact or an enchantment. So we'll probably go, instead of the Sol Ring, we'll go for a Mana Crypt, so that we can get our commander out next turn. And then with the additional mana, we'll go into Darksteel Axe, and we'll try and get into a land as soon as we can. That's Enlightened Tutor at the end of our opponent's turn. They played a Sultai Emissary. And where are we? We are at Mana Crypt. Okay, so cast the Mana Crypt. And then see if we get countered or not. No, we do not. We will cast Sram. And then whenever we cast an aura, equipment or vehicle spell, we draw a card, and Darksteel Axe is an equipment of course, and we make our land drop for the turn, so that's excellent. That means we can play and equip Sword of the Animist next turn, get some more lands in play. Why don't we get some protection from black, seeing as how most zombies are black. We'll go for a Sword of Feast and Famine into our hand. And yeah, the game's turned out pretty well so far, considering we had a risky hand to start with. Our opponent's got out a Zombie Warrior, 1/1, last turn. 2 mana, and when it dies you manifest the top card of your library. Our opponent's now up to 3 mana, and has Doombladed Sram, so looks like we're going to be recasting Sram next turn. Or I suppose we could go for a Foundry Inspector, something like that. No, I think we do want to cast Sram, to be honest. Get that card draw on the go. Ooh, that's tempting. Yeah, Sram's Expertise. Yeah, I think we can do that. I think we can Sram's Expertise into a Sword of Feast and Famine. And then... no, because Sram won't be able to... no, we'll just go for Sram. I was thinking we can't swing in with the Sram equipped up next turn anyway, because Sram wouldn't have haste if we cast it next turn, so even if we could play Sram and get the equipment onto it, which we couldn't, then it wouldn't have haste anyway, so... our opponent is flashing back the Doomblade, so looks like we might just have to equip up our servo tokens with the Sword of Feast and Famine. And we would like to keep Sram on the field because it is a lot of card draw for us, but it's not the end of the world if we can't. Alright, we get another land drop, which is good. And we will cast Sram's Expertise. And then we can cast a card. Yeah, I think we just go for the Sword of Feast and Famine. That'll be ramped next turn. Our opponent can chump with the Snapcaster Mage, but seeing as how it's not a zombie, it will be harder for our opponent to get Snapcaster out of the graveyard. They'll probably be running some kind of recursion like Reanimate, Animate Dead, things like that, but they certainly won't be able to do it off of their commander, and Endless Ranks of the Dead is going to get out of control over the course of a few turns. But it is quite slow, luckily for us. And we get bolted by that. Why don't we go for a Sword of the Animist, and then Sword of Feast and Famine on one of the servo tokens, and we'll keep hold of Masterwork of Ingenuity, I think. We could get another sword out. Yeah, I don't mind that, just in case our opponent gets more mono blue creatures out. We can almost guarantee hitting at least something with those. We'll swing in with everything, seeing as how whatever they block with. Yeah, just seeing if... No, they're not going to block with the Sultai Emissary. That surprises me, because if they manifest a card, then that will be colourless. I think the manifest cards are colourless, so that will mean that they can block... Will always yield to the Endless Ranks of the Dead, so that will mean that they can block something that has Sword of Feast and Famine on it. But then again, we do have 2 in play now, so it'd be easier to get through with those, even with colourless and blue creatures on the battlefield. Next turn I think we go for Sword of the Animist, start getting more lands out, make it easier to recast Sram as and when we need to. Our opponent got a lot of value out of that Doomblade. But they only have 2 lands in card now. 2 lands in card, wow. 2 cards in hand. I'm playing a Liliana, which is 2/3 lifelink, and whenever a non-token creature that you control dies, you flip it. So that's probably what the Sultai Emissary was being saved for there. See if we get bolted again from the Mana Crypt. When our opponent decides to give us priority. And there we go, we get bolted yet again. Land tax isn't terrible because our opponent has way more lands than we do. But we will go for Sword of the Animist on one of the servo tokens. And then we'll Sword of Feast and Famine on another servo token and get out land tax. And then we can swing in with all but one of these servo tokens. We'll always yes and always yield to the Sword of the Animist trigger. And we'll get another land into play off of that. And then we untap 4 lands, and I think... Oh, and we have our opponent discard. Yeah, discard their last card, which was Underworld Connections. Yeah, that's a good one to get rid of, because that's, of course, more card draw for our opponent. And yeah, that makes 5 mana Argentum Armor next turn. We can get rid of that Endless Ranks of the Dead. I don't think it does anything with just 1 zombie in play. Yeah, because it's rounded down, and our opponent doesn't have any zombie. They need Liliana to die really, so that they can get out another zombie, and then start getting some value out of Endless Ranks of the Dead. That's the problem with this card, especially in 1v1. It is quite slow. When it starts going crazy, then it's a real issue. But it is a bit of a win more card, to be honest, because if you already have a lot of zombies in play, then you should be fairly close to winning that game anyway. We will always yield and not always yes, but in this case we will get 3 planes and sort out our land drops for the next 3 turns. And we have a Faith's Fetters, which can switch off almost any creature, or almost any permanent really. Do we just go for Sram here? How much will he cost? 6. We have 2, 4, 6. No cards in our opponent's hand, so we'll go for that. And then we'll get a sword onto it to give it protection after we've untapped with all these lands with these swords. We of course get another Another land drop off of the Sword of the Animist. Very good card, Sword of the Animist, especially in a mono white deck where you might struggle with making your land drops. I don't think we've missed a single land drop apart from on turn 1 in this game, and we've managed to get all of them thanks to things like land tax and Sword of the Animist. And the card draw from Sram in the early game. We'll get Sword of the Animist onto Sram along with Sword and Feast and Famine. We need to give Sram protection from black. They'll still be able to bounce him, but that's no problem. He only costs 2 mana to cast. And then why don't we just equip up this servo with Darksteel Axe. I'd like to spread the threats out a little bit so that this isn't a Voltron deck. If our opponent only has targeted removal, then we're not effectively losing all our artifacts. And looks like Gisa and Geralf are going to gain 5 life and shuffle their graveyard. And this is looking like we're fairly comfortable here, I think. Next turn we get out the Argentum armor and equip that up. Actually, I don't think we'll have the mana to equip it up. Opponent's going to cycle a desert. And see what they have for us now. Okay, Fleshbag Marauder actually gets them another zombie, so that will turn on Endless Ranks of the Dead. We will just sack one of our servo tokens to this. We'll make it a tapped one. In the oh, and that flips Liliana as well. Yeah, I didn't, and it gets them a manifest trigger. Yeah, very good. I completely forgot about Liliana needing something to die in order to flip. And we'll get another zombie, which will still have Endless Ranks of the Dead switched on. You need at least 2 for that. And Liliana, when flipped, is +2. Each player discards a card. -X, return a non-legendary creature with converted mana cost X from the battlefield. That's a -X. And then -8, you get an emblem, which is Endless Ranks of the Dead, I think. Whenever a creature dies... Oh no, whenever a creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. So your creatures just keep coming back and coming back. And we can get rid of a plains. Not actually worried about Liliana's +2 ability because we have land tax. And how many lands do we have? 6? 3, 6, yeah, and our opponent has 1 more land than us, so we can load our hand up with another 3 lands next turn, so that's plenty of discard fodder. The opponent's not going to swing in. I think we'll just continue to hammer away at our opponent directly, as opposed to worrying about the Liliana. Gisa and Geralf haven't played anything that we're all that worried about so far. But yeah, when I saw that, what's it called, Fleshbag Marauder, it reminded me of a spoiler that I saw in the... Ooh, Batterskull is nice. Reminded me of a spoiler that I saw in the Guilds of Ravnica set. There's a new... Oh, and that costs 1 less to cast, doesn't it? Well, that's alright, we'll just... we'll play the Argentum armor as well. Yeah, there's a new card coming out in the Guilds of Ravnica set that is similar to Fleshbag Marauder and the Merciless Executioner, but it has 1 more toughness. It's a 3/2, and it also allows players to sacrifice Planeswalkers as well. So if you cast that in response to wiping the board, then you can force your opponents to get rid of their Planeswalkers with that card. So I'll definitely be running that. And we've drawn into a Council's Judgment as well, so that can get rid of Liliana also. But I think, how much is this to equip? 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I think we'll just put the Argentum armor on the servo. And then we can go blowing up Endless Ranks of the Dead or whatever else that we want to kill. Maybe this manifest token, because you never know what that might flip around into. Might have been wise to just kill the manifest creature with Council's Judgment, but I want our opponent to have half a chance of coming back into this game. I don't think they had the craziest hand to start off with. My opponent's tapping on the upkeep for some reason. Don't have to pay for it. Oh no, they're doing this on their upkeep? How are they doing that? I don't understand what's going on here. They just pay 3 mana to get this out, I think. Or did they get that out last turn? Oh, it was the manifest, yeah. God, I'm being an idiot. Yeah, they flipped it during their upkeep. It was a Lord of the Accursed, and I wonder... Yeah, Lord, I didn't count on that occurring. Lord of the Accursed gives them +1/+1, and then for 2 and tap, all zombies gain Menace, which means they can only be blocked by 2 or more creatures. We will only be able to block 1 creature in that case. We will gain 4 life, so let's see if we can work this out. 3, 6, 9, and then +8 is 17. That's 19 damage. We can stop 4 of it, and then we gain 4 life, so that cancels these 2 out effectively. So that's 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so we'll just about stay in it, I think, unless our opponent gets out another creature buff right now. But yeah, that's yeah, we discard a card. That's just a land for us. We don't care about that. But that just goes to show how quickly an opponent can. We've been getting bolted a lot from Mana Crypt, and it shows how quickly an opponent can turn the game around if you go easy on them or don't make the necessarily correct plays. Instead of getting the Argentum armor out there, what I should have done was Council's Judgment, the what turned out to be the Lord of Accursed. Not to worry, I don't think we're seeing lethal here. We'll go after our opponent's commander, and that'll cancel out the Fleshbag Marauder damage because Batterskull has lifelink, so that's 2, 4, 6, 7. So we should be okay there. Oh, we didn't actually have to double block that because... Yeah, because this doesn't have Menace, and they haven't given the creatures... Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't think it matters. Batterskull was going to die anyway. Or are they killing the servo first? Or are they killing Batterskull? Yeah, I had it in my head that... No, they killed the servo token. Yeah, that's... Yeah, that's not right, I don't think. Anyway, not to worry. Oh, and our opponent sees that, yeah, they couldn't get it through. We win on the swing back. Yeah, what we should have done there, I did point it out before they even flipped it over, was Council Judgment, the Manifest, just in case. And this at least showcases why you should make plays like that, just to play it safe. Luckily, I just play for fun. I play in the hope of making an entertaining video. So, hopefully you enjoyed this video. It was quite a close one between Gisa Geralf and Sram, and there's more videos on the way. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you very much for watching.